Welcome back to TenTenths Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Grialt, and I am sitting in the Kanga Motorsports studio, and I have Adam Nilsson on Zoom, and it is Saturday morning.
And we're bitching about stuff.
Oh, man. I had the worst night's sleep I think I've had since I stopped drinking. So in the last 5 years, the worst night's sleep I think I've ever had. I blame E-Man and John from Petrobox.
I slept like a baby last night, but that's because it was just me and the cat and the dog in the bed, and it was glorious.
It's just me and the dog, but man, I don't know what the deal was.
My wife and kid are at her dad's house because they wanted to see him again, and I was like, I don't need to go to that. We just saw them like literally last weekend, so I'm just gonna stay home. And so she peaced out, which is fantastic.
Nice.
And so I just spread out with the cat, and we slept, and it was fantastic. But that doesn't mean that I don't have plenty of things to complain about still.
Oh, of course. This is first world problems. We got to complain about everything.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I went to a restaurant with Petrobox guys, and whatever the food. We did. And then whatever I ate, decided it didn't want to sit well with me, so I tossed and turned all night. Felt like shit.
That sucks, though.
I still feel like shit.
Because that food is delicious.
Oh, I'm probably going to eat the rest of the take-home stuff that I brought.
We'll figure out. I've never even seen the wings. So we went to Jethro's, which used to be like what we did.
It was like a normal thing as a team.
back in the early days of the podcast, that was what you and me and Michael did like all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever seen anybody eat those wings there before.
Oh, no, they're good. Well, they're not really wings. Like they call them boneless wings, but it's just like fried, pulled pieces of chicken.
Yeah.
And it's just like a big plate of them, slathered in sauce.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's interesting. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
But I couldn't not eat my favorite skillet that they make there. It's so good. I love it so much.
And then E-Man got made fun of by the waitress because he ordered the Better Homes and Gardens melt.
Well, so
which is like the most basic thing you can get.
Okay, we'll explain this then. So Jethro's is like one of our local barbecue places, and it seems like people either fucking love that place or fucking hate that place. But I fall in the love category. I think it's great.
Yeah,
I think Robbie's a big fan as well.
Yep.
So there's like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 different restaurants in Des Moines that are Jethro's, and all of them have their own unique theme. Like the one we went to last night is called Bacon, Bacon, Bacon.
No, it's barbecue and bacon.
Okay, so fill in the blank. But and so then they have their own like couple of things that are unique on the menu, and then they have a few things that they serve at all of the restaurants. And when I don't go to the Bacon, Bacon, Bacon one, I always get the Better Homes and Gardens melt because I think it's delicious. And so that's what E-Man ordered, and she immediately tore him up over it. And I don't know. I feel like that was unwarranted.
I did find it funny that she's laughing at him for getting the basic of orders that every person gets. I've never had it. I always get something else.
So it's just what is it? Pulled pork and smoked turkey.
Yeah, that's definitely why I wouldn't do it then.
So good.
Yeah,
you don't like what's
pork? I'm not a big fan of pork, except bacon.
Oh no, dude.
I like bacon, but like any other pork product, I'm out.
Pulled pork is my life.
Oh no, I'll eat it if it's there, like at a barbecue, like if someone's cooking or grilling or whatever, I'll eat it.
Yeah,
I will never buy pork.
No way, dude.
I don't
recently recently acquired a like smaller sized crock pot so that that has a latch on the lid so it doesn't spill.
That's nice. Specifically
so that I can make pork based products at work while I'm working.
That's awesome. That's great.
More about that in the opener.
Yeah. No, nope. Unless it's bacon, I'm no thank you.
Ah, dude, I love pork so much. Pork is so good.
Beef is life.
I like. There's really no meat that I'm not a fan of, as long as it's been cooked already.
No, They don't have to. You don't have to cook all the meats.
You do have to cook all the
Fish
meats.
doesn't
And I don't
even need to be
necessarily want them cooked well. Just cooked.
Fish doesn't need to be cooked.
Fish needs to be cooked.
No, you just cut it into pieces and eat it. It's delicious.
The most delicious fish that you can eat. I'm going to say it.
Oh my God.
I'm really going to fire people up.
Oh my God.
Catfish.
Yeah, but you're saying fried catfish.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just like breading, fish flavored breading. Is what you're saying to me?
No, because like
covered in tartar sauce.
If you give me a choice between like I don't know, whatever they serve it, like I can't think of what other fish is good good fried, but you know,
tilapia?
Like huh?
Tilapia?
Yeah, tilapia. That's the popular one. If you give me a choice between tilapia and catfish, I'm not even gonna think about it because catfish is so much better.
So, do you not like salmon or tuna?
Oh, I love salmon and tuna.
Raw?
No.
Oh, but it's delicious. It doesn't need to be cooked.
No.
Even cooked tuna steaks, you barely toss it onto the grill for like 30 seconds, and then you're like, that's too much.
I've only had tuna as in its steak form, if you will, once. And admittedly, we were where were we? We were. I was on the road working at my last job. It was one of those out of town jobs we had every once in a while, and the guys were all like buying weird stuff because we were in North Carolina. We were in Wilmington, and the guys were all buying weird stuff to make on the grill. And I was like, I'll try this tuna steak thing, whatever, you know. And I fucking suck at grilling. I'm not good at it. And they're better at it, but none of them had ever made tuna. And so we tried it, and it was good, but I think it was a little more dry. I think it spent too much time on the grill, so it was a little dried out.
Yeah, tuna steaks you're supposed to
a little overcooked.
Yeah, like medium rare is almost too done.
Yeah,
you basically
but we
just
didn't know how long to
outsides.
do it. You know, we're just like, well, let's hit up the Google machine and see
like
what they
literally
say, and then
a minute.
Let's just try it.
A minute and a half tops.
Yeah.
Just slap it one side, watch it change color,
heat,
and then flip it back over. The inside's probably raw, but the way it should be.
That's kind of the way I eat my steak anyway, though. Rare to medium rare is the way I eat my steak. So
yeah, then you should.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't know. I'm sure it is delicious, and I did enjoy it despite the fact that it was a little dried out. But it's got to be cooked, man.
No.
Yeah, no. I'm just not.
We should.
I don't know.
I should take you to a bunch of sushi places.
See, I think my biggest problem with sushi is maybe not necessarily the fish itself, as the stuff that goes with it.
Like what? Seaweed?
That sounds weird. I'm not sure I'm going to eat that.
It's so much better than regular salad.
Is that just like really salty lettuce?
No, it's not salty at all.
It's not?
No,
I assumed it was salty
good
because it came from the sea.
No, man, it's bomb. It's where it's at. It's way better than regular salad.
I don't like leafy green things, Robbie.
It's not.
I don't know that there's a single vegetable I eat not cooked.
What?
Like even carrots. I don't like raw carrots, but I will eat them cooked happily.
Man.
In like stews and that sort of thing. So good that way.
Well, it is good that way too, but man, picky.
I just like my food cooked, Robbie. I don't think that's...
Nah, I don't have time to cook my food. I just need to eat it.
Nah, man.
Raw fruits, raw vegetables. Don't care.
Nah, man.
Seaweed. It's good.
That's fine.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
Food podcast.
We were going to talk about our getting antsy before we dived into the opener.
Oh, yeah.
Right before we started talking, we were like, wait, this is podcast content.
Yeah,
let's stop.
We're just complaining about not feeling good, getting older, waking up in the morning.
Well, yeah, we jumped right into that. That's normal, though. But I was also complaining about how ready I am to get out and do car stuff because all of my normal winter car things have been either canceled or moved. And I don't have anything to do. I'm so sick of being home.
I'm so sick of just working on stuff.
Right?
I'm ready to do something with it. Which is
normally
months
in
away.
December, we get to go to PRI. Nope, that was out.
Yep.
Fine, whatever.
And we had
in the past, in the winter, I've gone to Mecum. That got bumped. My dad and I go to a few different indoor car swap meets in the winter. Most of those have been canceled, and actually a lot of those aren't even canceled just because of COVID, but just canceled.
I'll say Wild Wade's was
sucks. Wild Wade's got moved to the spring because they needed to move it outside because it was too big for its britches.
And it's been canceled.
That's right. He did cancel it, didn't he?
Yep. He like preemptively canceled it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's just been rough. Like, I'm so bored and I'm so tired of just sitting at home and
yeah. No, I'm done.
I moved Super Lap Battle.
When's that?
Back. Well, normally it's in February. So normally I'd be like getting ready to go there here in the next couple weeks, but they pushed it back to like the first or second weekend in March, which isn't like a huge deal. And I'm actually not all that upset about it because it'll be warmer. And so then it might be better. But also at the same time, I'm upset about it because it's farther away now. So
who's all going?
I don't know.
You're still planning on going to that with everybody?
Oh yeah, we're still planning on going. So
who's all going? Do you know?
It'll be me, Ryan, and Josh for sure.
Dalton?
Yes, Dalton. Me, Ryan, Josh, and Dalton.
Okay. And he's driving.
Yeah, we're dragging Dalton with.
Is he driving?
I think. No, he's not driving.
Oh.
And I think the main reason he's not driving, the main reason I'm not pushing to get him to drive, because I feel like if we really pushed him, we could get him to drive. But he has to buy the Yokos.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think he has a wheel for them.
Oh. Yeah, that would kind of creep on you really fast, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it's really annoying to buy a set of wheels and tires for one event a year.
Yeah, forget
so
that.
I love spending Dalton's money, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that's too much even for Dalton.
He's got enough projects.
Yeah. He's got a number of irons in the fire already. So he doesn't need that.
No, I don't think so.
So we're just going to go and we're going to spectate and we're going to hang out and we're going to eat delicious Texas barbecue and it's going to be great.
Almost as good as Iowa barbecue.
That's probably fair.
That'll ruffle some feathers.
Oh, for sure. I don't remember what the place was that we went to eat at last year, but it's life altering and we're going back again.
Oh God, I remember you talking about it. I can't think of it. Because you mentioned on the show.
I don't remember what it was, but it was just it was one of the oldest barbecue pits in Texas or something like that. Oh my God. It was so good. I lay up at night thinking about that place. So good.
Hopefully feeling better than I was laying up thinking about Jethro's last night.
Very much so. So anyway, should we do the opener?
Yeah. As always, our opener is presented by Factor Fabrication, factorfabrication.com. I've been talking to Booney quite a bit. He's working on the Z. I know he's been super swamped with residential type stuff, and he was working on I think it was curved staircase yesterday on top of the spiral staircases that he's been working on. He had a couple aluminum spiral staircases in the back shop 2 weekends ago that he was working on, and Max was working on. I don't want to discredit Max's efforts. And then, he's got these massive curved staircases that he's working on. So the Z is in the way, which is good because that means he's going to be more apt to make it a priority to get it out of the way. I'm not pushing him to get it done any faster. I just know that it's in his way, so it'll do it for me. I don't have to be like, hey man, how's that coming? Because every time he sees it, it's probably in his way.
How many employees does he have? Is it just him and Max, or is there one or two other guys?
I could have swore there was one or two other guys, and I honestly can't remember. I only know him and Max,
right?
But I'm pretty sure there was at least two others at one point. I think I'm making a lot of assumptions based on conversations I was sort of involved in, but not completely involved in.
That's fair.
Yeah, eavesdropping and all sorts of stuff. So
I know when I've been there once or twice, there's been more than him and Max, but I don't know if those are just like people that are hanging out there or if they're employees.
Yeah, or people that are like customers.
Yeah, that could be too.
I don't know. I've
Right.
never asked.
That's fair.
It never even occurred to me to ask.
That's fair. So,
But yeah, if you need any sort of custom railing, landscaping type things, or custom furniture, factoryfabrication.com. Tell him the podcast guy sent you, and he'll double your price probably.
yeah,
He'll
that's fair.
I'm joking. Anyways, factoryfabrication.com.
So, as I've alluded to once or twice in the last couple of months, I have received a brand new work truck. It's a 2020 2500 HD Silverado.
With a beautiful front end, I must add.
It's not as bad as I used to think it is.
No, and the bigger the truck, the better it looks.
Like, I've come around to be like, I'm not saying it's good looking, but I've come around to like not caring anymore. Right.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just like, it's whatever.
Yeah. No, the 1500s look god awful, and then the bigger trucks are a little better.
Yeah, they do look mildly better. So, but this one is a gas engine, so it's the new 6.6 liter, which is interesting. A bunch of people have been like weirdly interested in how I feel about this engine. So, guess we'll talk about it.
How do you feel about it?
What's that?
I said, how do you feel about it?
So far, it's been quite the beast of a truck for me. I take my truck into places that may or may not necessarily be places a lot of truck owners may bring theirs into. A couple weeks ago, first week I had it, was doing a lot of work at cell phone sites, which when you're in Iowa, cell phone towers are located fairly off the beaten path. And it's in the winter, so we have snow, and that thing just crushed it.
Like driving through fields and stuff?
Just
full
drives
snow?
through fields, through snow, through everything, doesn't even care. And it's got more than enough power. I haven't done any towing with it yet. And even when I do, I won't be that heavy of towing. Generally speaking, the trailers that are behind my truck aren't that heavy. So, I don't know. But so far, the engine's been really good for me. Couple of things that I have had issues with that are GM related. Its towing or its power producing capabilities are barely adequate to run the truck itself, apparently. So when you start adding a bunch of accessories that you're trying to run on the 12-volt system, it does not handle it well. So
you're saying you can't run your house off of this, like some people have done on the internet?
Well, that truck is specifically designed to be able to do stuff like that. It's got that big
Inverter.
That Ford truck has that big inverter on it. So I, for the people who don't know, I splice fiber for a living, and most of my fiber crews work with bucket trucks and trailers. But it's nice to have one truck that isn't attached to the trailer that can still splice. So we've always had one vehicle that has some sort of splice lab built on the back of the truck. My last one was like kind of a U-Haul box truck style. This one, instead of the box truck on the back, we put essentially like a giant topper or like pickup bed camper style thing that goes in the back of it that's specifically designed for splicing fiber. The idea behind this was that they could take the splice lab out of the truck, trade the truck in and put a new truck underneath it every few years. And then I don't end up with a 250 or 300,000 mile truck that's beat to hell like my last one. That's the hopes and dreams. We'll see if that happens. But so in order to run that system, you either have to run a generator or you have to run all of the stuff in the splicer lab off of batteries charged by the truck. And we're kind of trying to do a little bit of both. And so we put a 2,500 watt inverter in the back of it. And I can't run more than 700 or 800 watts through that inverter without the battery dipping so low that the inverter trips into low voltage protection, because the alternator just can't keep up with it. And that's with none of the flashers running. If I turn the flashers on, I can't run the any real amount of wattage through that inverter because it's just too much draw on the electrical system. So it's been kind of annoying. It does turn out that if you option the vehicle correctly, we just bought this one off the lot. It was just one they had. It's basically an optionless work truck package. It has a few little things, but it's not a fancy truck at all. So if you were to buy one of these with this expressed idea, or maybe you just want to be able to do stuff with your truck that's above and beyond what normal people would do, they do have a snowplow package, which adds a second battery and alternator.
Oh.
And so we bought all the parts for that because you can just buy them, and it comes with the alternator, the brackets, a longer belt. The second battery tray is already in the truck when we got it. Like, it's just there all the time.
Oh, nice.
And then the kit comes with the pre-cut and terminated wires that run from one battery to the other and all that stuff. So it just bolts right in. It's no big deal. We got the parts. I haven't left the truck at the shop long enough for those guys to put it in yet, but hopefully that'll fix that problem. I'll be able to run that without having to run the generator all the time, because the generator itself is the fuel fill for the generator is legit 7 foot off the ground.
Oh, is that the little trapdoor thing?
So yeah, if you're looking at a picture of this thing, it's a Sterling Fleet Outfitters cap. If you look at a picture of it, I've posted some pictures on my social media if you guys want to go and look at them. But there's like a little door on the side, on the passenger side towards the front, that opens up, and that's the generator. The generator slides out on this big tray,
which is above the top
so
of the back of the truck.
So it's above the top of the bed. And as I've expressed many times, new trucks are too goddamn tall. And so, the top of the bed is like titty height on me or higher. We also put an extra helper leaf spring in here to kind of help support the weight of this thing. Even though it's not really that heavy, but that's what they decided to do. And then the generator's above that, but the generator's also, 2.5 foot tall probably. So the top of the generator is a solid 7 feet in the air. And so in order to put gas in it, I have to fucking get a 4-foot ladder out. And it's not just because I'm a little short. Like,
everyone would.
Yao Ming would be the only person that wouldn't have to get a ladder to put gas in this thing. So it's, I can already hear the short jokes, but that's not the problem.
It's not a short joke when it's 7 feet in the air.
Yeah, it's just tall. And so the goal was to try and set up the truck so that if I was just moving around a lot and just doing quick little things, because we'll do a lot of that where I'll just have to splice 1 or 2 fibers in an existing enclosure and move on to the next one. And I'm only at each site for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever, that instead of pulling the generator tray out, starting the generator, I can just leave the truck idling and run the lights and stuff like that off the inverter. It's no big deal. So that was the original goal. And the truck, as we bought it, didn't really work out that way. So probably not an issue most people are ever going to run into. But if you think you're going to put a big inverter in your truck and run power tools at the racetrack off of it, you might want to consider buying the snowplow package.
Yeah, I was going to say, because just the plug-in on mine can't even run a coffee maker. Yeah.
Mine is optionless enough that I did not get the 120 volt plug inside, which really bums me out.
Yeah. It's good enough for charging things like your GoPros or your cell phones or your laptops.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it stops.
Yeah. So, do you have Apple and Android CarPlay?
No.
No?
No.
Do you have I can't remember. Do you have the big screen?
No.
No, you don't have
it's
the
bigger,
big 7-inch touchscreen?
I have that, but I guess okay. I never considered that big. It was slightly bigger than the Avalanche, but still not big compared to all these other stupid cars.
That's fair. To me, I'm still you got to remember, Robbie, I'm stuck in the early 2000s where screens didn't even exist. So
I still prefer it that way, but yeah, it has a touchscreen.
Yeah, that's fair. So this
But
is the first vehicle I've ever had with that fancy stuff.
Does yours have the touch screen that like lifts up and has the cubby behind it?
No.
Okay, I don't have that either.
No, mine's not that fancy.
I know the Denali's do. Jess's parents, both their last two vehicles had it.
That's cray.
Yeah, but yeah, no,
I'm not that
I don't
fancy.
have that. I just have the regular. I think they all have that screen, and I don't have any of those extra apps.
Do.
Yeah.
So I do have Apple CarPlay and Android, but I haven't used it because I don't have an Android. Apple CarPlay is pretty sweet. It's very nice to be able to just kind of plug my phone in, and it gives me the turn by turn up on the screen, and gives me a whole bunch of stuff. It's kind of gimmicky and silly, but it's also kind of nice. Like, it'll read my text messages and then I can respond to them through voice, which I'm still a little apprehensive about because I still feel a little bit like a moron talking to my truck.
I swear at the truck all the time, man. I don't.
Okay, that's fair. But like responding to, a text message from my boss or my girlfriend still feels weird to me.
Yeah. How is that different from the Bluetooth? Because I have Bluetooth and I'll do podcasts and stuff and listen through that.
So I think the big differences between Bluetooth or just basic Bluetooth and actually having CarPlay is like the turn by turn stuff.
Okay.
Because it pops it up on the screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never done anything like that. I just listen to music, and then even though if I have navigation, I still have my navigation's always muted, so it doesn't talk over the music or podcast I'm listening to, and I just have to pay attention well enough that I know where I'm going.
No, so it shows it on the screen, and there's a moving map. Even when I don't have like a destination programmed in, I always have a map on my screen, and I can see where I'm at. I can see roads, and it'll show gas stations on exits and stuff like that.
Well, that'd be pretty nice. I think
it's kind of cool.
I think mine has the navigation, but of course it's it's factory, so it's like not up to date. Mine has Wi-Fi and shit on it. Does yours have that?
Yeah, but it's only for a while.
Mine always shows me like 4G, whatever, and then Wi-Fi.
I think it'll always show you that, but I don't think it works.
It worked when I bought the truck, and I tried to connect I can't remember why, but I wanted to try something. I think it was before I went to PPIR. I wanted it to work, see if it worked for whatever reason, and I couldn't get it to work, and then just said, "To heck with it, I don't care."
Right,
because I'm not going to pay for it. So.
What I was told when I got the truck is that is extra money that you have to pay for above and beyond for because you have to have the OnStar subscription package to get that, and obviously they weren't going to pay for that for me, but they did say if I want it that I can get it. It was just going to come out of my paycheck.
Oh, forget that.
And I was like, nah, man, I don't care that much.
No.
So although now I have been starting to kind of think about it because, and I need to do some research on this, but I've been told, so my truck does not have remote start because it's that optionless.
Dang.
But I have been told that maybe if you get OnStar, you can use the app on your phone to start your truck.
Yeah. You should be able to do that.
And this is sort of an argument that I'm having at work right now that we don't need to dive into, but I'm not quite allowed to drive at home every day yet, but we're slowly ever ticking closer to that. And if they do let me start driving at home every day, I think I might pony up for that much of the subscription.
Yeah, that's quite a bit more driving on top of what you're already doing.
It'd be so nice.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's really nice having a nice, quiet vehicle driving down the road.
Reliable.
Doesn't have a ton of wind noise, and it's, the heat works, which is nice. My feet aren't always cold, which is fantastic. We bought the full crew cab. The back seat is ridiculous. It's huge. The truck is gigantic.
Does yours flip all the way up so it's just like completely wide open back there?
Yep.
Yeah, that's nice.
So my old truck had the splice lab area was quite a bit larger than the topper that I have now. And so I was really concerned about losing storage space because I already had the least amount because everybody else is in like 12 to 14 foot long enclosed trailers with tons of cabinet space and stuff like that. And then I'm in this little 8-foot long truck. So I was losing a bunch of space already, and I already had the least amount to begin with. And so that was a big concern of mine. And so they agreed that they would buy the crew cab. And so right now what I do is the bench is like a 60-40 in the back. And I have the 60% side flipped up all the time. And I have a bunch of like my tools that I don't use specifically for splicing, like my sawzalls and stuff like that in the back of the truck. So I still have room for someone to sit on the passenger side. And then all of my tools and stuff like that I don't use in the back of the truck are in the back seat.
And you don't, I mean, it's not often you have more than 3 people.
Oh, almost never. Yeah. Although now that we have the capability, we have found reasons to do it.
Of course.
So there has been more than one time where we're like, oh, it's lunchtime. Everybody get in Adam's truck. Let's go get lunch. Like, all right, whatever, guys. That's fine. So, yeah, it is. It's the only 2020 we have in our entire fleet, which the company I work for is a pretty big utility contractor. I think we have like 250 employees or something like that. We have a lot of crews doing a lot of stuff all over the place. And so having the only 2020 truck is kind of weird.
Mr. Fancy Guy moving up in the world.
Yeah, I've got a lot of gruff for it from customers and stuff like that. You know, I've had more than one customer who's like, "Man, we must pay you guys too much." Like,
that's definitely not the case.
I don't agree with that. That's not the issue. That's not the situation. So, but yeah, it's been nice to have it.
I bet.
So,
I'll say it's a nice truck, and I'm super happy with my 18. So I can only imagine that you're having your 20 is a huge improvement from what you had.
Yeah. So it's fun. I still have some work to do inside of the splice lab to get it all set up the way I want it to. But yeah, we're getting closer. The generator finally showed up a week or 2 ago. I've only had it running for a couple of days now. But that means I have my microwave back, which is fantastic.
Your mini fridge, all that stuff.
I bought a mini fridge for it.
Nice.
Sort of. I was at Tyson's, which is like a local fleet and farm sort of store. And they had this, it was $25. It's a little mini fridge / food warmer. Like it has a cold or a hot setting on it.
Oh,
you can do one or the other, right? You can't do both. Obviously, it doesn't have a compartment. This side heats, that side cools. It's either warm or cold, but it's big enough to fit like if you have those little individual sandwich Tupperware containers.
Yeah.
You can probably fit like 2 of those in the top. There's a little shelf in the middle. Probably fit 2 of those in the top, and then like 2 or 3 cans of pop on the bottom.
That's a little bigger than I thought it'd be. I'm picturing
it's
like
decent size.
I'm picturing the small ones that would have like 4 cans in it.
No, it's a little bit bigger than that.
Oh, that's pretty good,
decent
though.
size, but it comes with a 120 volt and a 12 volt plug.
All for $25?
And it was $25, and I was like, yup, taking that.
Yeah, no kidding.
So far, it hasn't worked.
It hasn't worked? Or you haven't?
No. So I brought it home, and I took it out of the box, and I plugged it into the wall and turned it to cold, and came back like 10 minutes later, and it was not cold. It was actually very hot.
Okay.
And so then I was like, well, maybe I just got a weird one and the switch is flipped. So I flipped it to heat, and it didn't get cold. It stayed hot. So I was like, okay, well, I know that like when you buy a new mic or a new fridge, you're supposed to let it just sit there for a few hours before you fire it up. Let the coolant
like do its
system
thing.
kind of settle down, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. Refrigeration things, I guess.
Beats me.
But I was like, I know, it sat on my table for a few days between the day I bought it and the day I actually got around to doing anything with it. And it sat on my table on its side.
Okay.
So I was like, well, maybe it just needs to sit, right? So I unplugged it and I let it sit there overnight. and plugged it back in. This was yesterday morning while I was taking my shower, getting ready to go to work. Came back out into the kitchen, and it's still super duper hot. So I shut it off, but didn't unplug it this time.
Okay.
And it's sitting in my kitchen right now. I literally just realized that I didn't check it, so hopefully it doesn't start on fire.
Well, if it hasn't started on fire yet, I think it'll be okay. It's new.
Yeah, and so if this doesn't work today, I'm going to take it back to Tyson's and get a different one and see if I just got a dud or if this is total bullshit.
Or yeah, or maybe there's a reason they're $25.
Yeah. So, but then I also bought that, or Katie's mom had that like smaller crock pot that I was talking about earlier that has a latchable lid, but it only goes to 120. But that's no big deal because I have the inverter. And once we have the full charging system set up, I can run the inverter while I'm driving down the road. So my idea right now is that I can take, like before I go to bed at night, you just throw all the things in the crock pot and throw it in the fridge.
Yep.
And then in the morning, I grab the crock pot on my way out the door, plug it in, put it on high, and I leave my house at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I eat my lunch about noon. So by then, my food will be ready to go, and I'll have delicious crock pot meals at work. It's going to be great.
Yeah, spicy hot chili.
No, I was thinking more like I found a recipe for crock pot pulled pork, which sounds fantastic.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does, Rob.
No, spicy chili sounds awesome.
I didn't know that you were not a pork guy.
I'm really not.
It's interesting to me.
Yep. That's like the one thing I'm kind of picky on.
That's weird to me. I don't know why that surprises me so much, but dude, I love pork.
No, pork is not my game.
It's really easy to dry it out and really ruin it though.
Yeah, or get like that.
So I can see where you might, where people can be that way about it.
Yeah, like
I get it.
Like the deli sliced meats.
Yeah.
I'll eat everything before I'll eat ham.
Interesting.
You know, I can't explain it. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, ham is gross. It's awful. Like, I just, for some reason, I just don't like it.
Huh. Yeah, chili's a good idea. It's probably not gonna be spicy chili, but chili's not a bad idea.
No,
like
firehouse, fire alarm, 3. You know,
nah, man, because like I don't have. I mean, I'm usually out
sweat,
in the middle of nowhere.
Sweat while you're
I
eating.
I don't have a bathroom anywhere close. Like that's you got to.
If you're in the middle of the field, who cares? No one's watching.
Well, so they haven't showed up yet because they're on back order, which is really super annoying. But it started out as a joke, but turned into a real thing. For Christmas, I bought. So I have me and 2 other crews, right?
I know where you're going with this.
I bought 5-gallon bucket toilet seats for my other guys' trucks. So, like, I don't know, like a year ago, HR decided that all our trucks needed trash bags, like boxes of trash bags. And so they like went around and put them in everybody's trucks, like underground crews, aerial crews, fiber crews, everybody. Like, okay, I don't really know why I fucking need this, but fine, whatever.
You'll be happy you have it when you do need it. Well,
so I don't know that any of us have ever used one yet.
Okay.
Like we all have these boxes of trash bags just sitting in our trucks, and I'm jokingly like we could just put those in the 5-gallon buckets and
in case of emergency,
yeah, because that happens a lot, like way more often than it should with our awesome diets.
Okay, it makes more sense now.
Yeah. Yeah, you think I eat bad? You should see some of the stuff that the guys I work with.
I suppose, you know, how I felt.
It's way worse.
Yeah,
dude.
How I felt last night is probably pretty normal for some of you guys.
Yeah, it's just standard operating procedure.
Yeah, I had Burger King for lunch, and then I had Jethro's for supper, and like fried shitty food for an entire day. So, I mean, I did this to myself. But I know that's super common for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, so then I was like, joking about how like it'd be nice to have a toilet seat, and I got on Google and I found out that they're only like $12.50 or something like that on I think Walmart.com, and so I ordered them and they haven't shown up yet. But
dang it! They just clamp to the top of a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah, just attaches to the top of a 5-gallon bucket.
That'd be great for camping.
I think that's the point.
I would assume, yeah.
But all of our trucks have 5-gallon buckets in them. We have stuff in it, but you just dump it out, throw a trash bag in it, attach the seat to the top of it, do your thing, close the trash bag, throw it away when we get back to the shop.
You might want to bring some like a 4-pack of TP in the like next to those trash bags.
I told the guys that I would provide the toilet seat, but they were on their own for the toilet paper.
That's fair. Very fair.
I can't provide them everything.
You can only hold their hands so much.
I feel like I'm a parent for some of these guys enough the way it is.
Oh, that's good shit.
So, yeah, we're going to be able to go on the go. It's going to be great.
It's in case of emergency, which seems to happen too often.
Way too often. And when you're far away from anything, like we often are.
Yeah, if you're in the middle of a
position
field,
where I'm set up and I can't just like quickly drive away. That's usually more what happens is even if I'm not that far away from stuff, I'm kind of set up and I can't just drive away. Like, hey man, I got to ask you to like step out of the truck for a few minutes. This is happening. So
yeah,
it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's good. You won't regret having that.
No. It started out as a joke, but now it's more of like a this is going to be great sort of thing.
Now you're looking forward to the next time you're stuck in the middle of the field.
So I'm glad we were able to talk about poop for 10 minutes. That's good.
That's literally what the show is.
That's fair. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's yeah, like I said, it's awesome having a brand new vehicle.
Yeah.
I still feel like a lot of the luxury creature comforts that everybody thinks they need like aren't really still a thing I need.
No.
But it is nice having a new vehicle.
Yes.
That just kind of works.
Yeah, no, I don't regret upgrading to the truck I got. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, lot less worries, and yeah, I have actually less bells and whistles on this than I did the Avalanche, but it has everything I need.
I forgot, I was going to look at this, and I forgot to do it before I left the shop yesterday, but the window sticker is still in the glove box for the truck. I think it was $48,000.
That's not bad.
So, yeah, it's like I said, it's not that option loaded.
Well, especially for
kind of like a lot of money, but
well, it's not a 1,500 either, though. So I mean, the price goes up with it.
2,500.
That's 48 for a new 2,500. It seems pretty reasonable, all things considered.
Yeah. So it's no $70,000 one ton, that's for sure.
That's blows my mind. But they're out there, or like a high country. Oh my gosh, can you imagine driving a high country?
Bunch of assholes.
Who do they think they are?
Right? I was kind of like, so, all new vehicles have to have backup cameras now, right?
Yes.
And so obviously it's built into the tailgate on the truck. And obviously I don't have the tailgate anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But the Sterling Outfitters guys, they thought of that already. There is a camera up on the third brake light at the top above the door on the back of it. And they give you a wiring harness that you can adapter that goes to the camera, to the truck.
Okay.
So the backup camera still works. And it's freaking amazing having a backup camera on a truck like that because I can't see a broke dick out of the damn thing.
No, you almost need it on something that big.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That was one of the things like on my last truck. It didn't have a backup beeper or a backup camera. And so when I was pulling out of a parking spot, I was just like, well, go slow and hope they stop, I guess, right?
Yeah. I don't have the beeper, but I do have the camera, and it's very helpful.
We haven't put a beeper on this one yet, but I think we're going to.
Yeah, you're something that big. I'm surprised it isn't required for like a work situation, not necessarily pedestrians.
Yeah, I think it might be. I'm not sure if it is or isn't. But and then the other cool thing that we added to this truck that I feel like we need to talk about. So obviously when you're working on the side of the road, you're supposed to have all these fancy flashing lights and strobes and fun things. Putting all those lights on a brand new truck and drilling a bunch of holes and stuff like that was not something we really wanted to do that badly.
Okay.
And one of our mechanics came across this product. It's like a little module that plugs in line with the factory wiring harness for the lighting system. And basically allows you to flash all of the lights in different
like headlights,
patterns.
brake lights, everything.
Headlights, brake lights, tail lights, turn signals. The
lights.
The third brake light on the back of the cab, which is kind of pointless on my truck, but it still does it. And the white lights on the back of the cab. So it alternates those.
Does yours have the mirrors that have the LEDs pointed back as well as?
Do not have the turn signals in the mirrors.
No. The white ones. The flashlight behind your truck.
No, no, I don't have that either.
I thought that was cool on mine because I have a button that you hit the button.
Yeah,
and it's like.
But I assume if I did, it would flash those as well.
Neat.
So it's $300.
Oh wow!
Which is probably as much or less than we would have spent just buying all of those LED strobe lights.
Right.
And so, on right next to the steering wheel on the dash, there's the button that you turn on I don't know what's the bed light. Whatever that's called.
Yeah.
Right. You push the button, it turns it on, turns it off. If you double tap it rapidly, that turns on what we have lovingly dubbed party mode, which flashes all the lights. So, and then you just double tap it to shut it back off again. And then we didn't have to wire a bunch of strobe lights and drill a bunch of holes in our brand new truck. And actually, I think we've already bought 3 or 4 others of those for other trucks that didn't really have as many lights as they probably should have, and added them to them. So
that's pretty slick.
It's a pretty cool little thing. It does flash trailers. When I was hooked up to a trailer once already, it does flash those. The headlights, if it's dark and the headlights are on, it won't flash them, so you can still drive, which is nice. But if it's daylight, it will flash the headlights. So it's a pretty cool little deal, or a little toy. I posted a video of it on
it was on the group, wasn't it?
On the group a while ago.
Yeah, right after you got it.
Yeah, I was actually before it was given to me. That was when the mechanics were still getting it all outfitted and set up. So
in the past, you've talked about your splice trailer, and that you basically had like a fishing hole, like an ice jack would have for your fiber to come up and into the cab.
Yeah.
I assume you don't have a big hole in the middle of the back of your truck. So how do you get your fiber into the truck?
They're on the on my trailers in my last truck. There was a little door on the side, or next to the door that you walk in the back, the walk-in door that opens. On this truck, it's got 60-40 split doors.
Yep.
And on the 40 split door, there's a little door that opens. And so you walk the case in when you open the 60% side, the bigger door, and you walk in there and set it on the table, and then you open that little door, push the cables into the notch in the 40% door that it makes, and then you can close the big one.
Okay. I wasn't sure how that would work, if you had to have it come up the bottom or if it was more convoluted to come out the side.
Nah, it comes out the back.
You can tell I don't really understand how you do your job, so
that's fine.
I'm going off of conversations we've had.
It's a weird thing for a lot of people. So I don't know. It's an interesting job. It's fun. I get to do a lot of cool things. I get to go a lot of cool places and see things that a lot of people don't see.
Yeah.
So it's cool in that respect, but it's
demanding.
I would never ever recommend it to somebody who doesn't fully understand what they're getting into. It takes a very unique person to do this job well.
I can see that.
So it's not a job that you just go in the morning and you work your hours and then you go home and you walk away from it. It's not that kind of job. It's the kind of job you do if you're the type of person who wants a job that's very demanding, for sure. So,
yeah, and your hours are whose line is it anyway style. Yeah, it's
my hours are silly. So
all day for 24 hours to a day off to 24 more hours to
and they're very random.
Yeah.
So
then if emergency comes up and people can't be without their internet, it's you work till it's
heaven
done.
forbid.
Yeah, you work till it's done. Like if a derecho hits.
I don't even want to talk. I'm still working on derecho problems.
God dang. What a mess.
So yeah. Still trying to clean that up. I put almost 40,000 feet of fiber in the ground for that this week.
Wow.
So
pretty wild.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's talk about some other stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we went and got dinner with E-Man and John from Petrobox.
Yep.
We can kind of just do it now. We partnered with Petrobox formally last week. Moving forward, we'll be official partners. We've been friends with them since we've been doing the show in the beginning. So we've been wearing their shirts, talking about them, being their friends,
hanging out with them at events.
Yeah, for like 5 years now. And then now we're back to a professional partnership. So if you want to head over to Petrobox or mypetrobox.com, use our code TTP15 for 15% off your first box or 15% off everything in the store. Definitely go hit them up. We just got our January boxes yesterday. So I got another shirt, a bunch of ring pops and fun dips, as well as some Jack's Wax carpet and fabric cleaner.
I'm wearing my Petrobox shirt right now.
That's the red Petrobox.
The Champion
logo.
Spark Plug logo.
Yes. Let's see, I got the picture here. Man, what else did we all get? There's a calendar. There was all sorts of cool stuff in there.
Did you see the pen? It's Advan livery for your JDM love.
I did. I used it to write a check.
Was it a check for the propane guy?
No, I paid that with a credit card.
Oh, okay.
God, that sucks. It's always so expensive.
I know.
It's only $1.30 a gallon. But then you do 500 gallons of it.
No.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I didn't save the picture. It's on our Instagram. I posted it right as we got it. I was pretty pumped about it.
Yeah. Super cool. Still like the best thing you can get in the mail is a cool box like that.
Yeah, it's I've always looked forward to it.
So, and I'm always amazed at the things they come up with, the guys at Petrobox come up with for putting in those. So they're definitely kind of outside the box thinkers when it comes to some of that stuff.
Yeah, it's not always the same stuff or the same type of stuff. It's just different every month.
Yeah. They sent us 10mm sockets this round, which makes me giggle.
I don't know if everyone got as many as we did just because we're friends, but I got the 3/8 and the quarter drives. I can't remember what drives.
Yeah, so on the little
sizes.
paper that comes with it says you got shallow and deep. So
everybody just got one of each.
But it's cool. It's funny.
They're nice.
Get it? Ha ha.
You're gonna lose your other ones.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. It's a funny little thing that's like, oh, okay, but it's actually nice to have. And they look like nice sockets.
Yeah, I haven't broke mine yet. I use them.
Petrobox logos on them, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then, the reason that we got lunch with them, because obviously the people that are aware, these guys are out of Columbus, Ohio. We'll leave it at that. It's not as nice as Iowa, but it's a place. And they drove all day Friday to meet us in Des Moines for dinner at, it was supposed to be 6. Realistically, it was 7:30 by the time we got our food ordered. And we closed the place down at 10. And then they still had 4 hours to go to get to Dalton's, where they were going to pull the motor out of the Volvo that he blew up on the way to NOLA and put in the new, engine, not motor, new engine in the Volvo. And
you're gonna get somebody mad now, Robbie.
I know. And their plan was to just finish it, hop in the car Sunday, and drive it back to Columbus. But they had decided Thursday that maybe they should bring a truck and trailer, which is probably the right call, no matter how well it goes.
Yep.
And so they didn't get to Dalton's till about 2 a.m., which is about the time that Iowa Man Racing opens. So he was wide awake, having good times.
Of course.
So how far do you think they're going to get?
So E-Man is optimistic in the belief that they're going to be able, that they could have driven this car home. He claims the reason that they're bringing the trailer is because the engine that they bought from the junkyard is the unknown in the situation. And so he thinks he could have driven that car home, that they're going to finish this engine swap this weekend. I feel differently about that.
There's no way.
So I think we all have a little bit different beliefs in how far they're going to get. And he wanted us to talk about it on the podcast so that he could hear it on his way home. And I'm more than happy to oblige. My personal belief is that they will get the old engine out.
Yes.
Load both the new engine and the old engine into the back of the truck, push the Volvo onto the trailer and take it home, because they're not going to get any farther than that.
I predicted they'll get further. My prediction is that Dalton will be hung over as shit. And so I predict that E-Man will get, him and John and whoever shows up will get the engine out. No problem. I predict that the new engine, will be nestled comfortably onto its motor mounts between the rails, and they're going to have a victory beer to celebrate the fact that they got it in the engine bay, and that's victory where it stops. Beers. Yeah. They'll be like, oh, yeah, we did it. Time for a beer. And then that's where the work stops, because the second beer will come, the third beer, fourth beer, fifth beer, sixth beer, and before they know it, it's Sunday morning and that engine hasn't been touched again.
That's probably fair.
So I predict that the broken engine will be in the back of the truck or the back of the Volvo, and the theoretically good engine will be in the engine bay. Maybe a couple of things connected, but it will not be running. Yeah,
I don't think there's any chance in hell that car runs by the end of the weekend.
No, and I appreciated John's response. He's saying, no, we're going to get as far as possible because I don't want to work on it back at home, which is fair.
I don't want to have to finish this next weekend, he says.
So I think that he'll help as much as he possibly can, and he'd be the only reason they'd get further. Because I feel like the group that's showing up are not as helpful as they are, as capable as they are, will not be there to help.
Nah.
If they all were dead serious on this and they wanted it to be done, it would be. I don't think they're serious about it. They're ready to have a good time as a group.
Yeah. So that's my prediction on it.
We'll have an update next week on how.
We'll update next week.
Yeah, so. MyPetrobox.com if you want to help support those guys.
As you should.
Definitely.
The coolest thing you're going to get in the mail all month.
Every month.
Every month.
And then if you want to take the guesswork out of it, head over to their store and just buy stuff.
That's Robbie's favorite thing to do, is just buy random T-shirts on their store.
Yep. No, not just T-shirts, books.
Oh, that's right. They've got all kinds of weird stuff in there, like the
cleaning products and car care products that if I know I'm running low on something, that's where I go. I just order it straight from there.
Yeah.
Plus the the stuff that comes in the Petro box every month. So yeah, it's good. Everything's good. What have I been up to? God, I've been busy.
Let's talk about your your sim upgrades.
Oh,
first.
Yeah.
Because that has been like something we keep forgetting about over and over and over and over again. So let's start there, because I'm interested in this.
Okay. I alluded to it a couple weeks ago, didn't I?
Let's pretend like we've never talked about it at all.
I don't remember. So
exactly.
Let's just go with that.
Because there's a lot of times where we have a conversation before or after the podcast starts, and then I can't remember whether we talked about it on the podcast or not.
I don't think
so. Let's pretend we haven't talked about it at all and go from there.
Yep. So, I've been getting a little more serious with my sim stuff. I've been on iRacing a lot more. I'm just kind of working on things that I know that I need to work on before I start doing wheel-to-wheel stuff. Obviously, it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, and iRacing is not the equivalent of wheel-to-wheel racing, but it puts me in my theory is that it puts me in situations that I could be more familiar with when it happens in real life. So my reactions will be similar, or at least have an idea of how I should react without stuffing a car into another car into a wall. I'll let the Miatas do that on iRacing. So, So I've been trying to get my sim a little bit more realistic, because I felt like I was making a lot of bad habits because the Logitech brake system is based on position. So the further you push the brake, like a toggle, like a throttle, the further you push it, the more brake you have, which isn't necessarily how brakes work. It's based on pressure. So I wanted to get, like, it's really hard to do, like brake and then trail braking. It's hard to trail brake with that type of setup.
It's kind of like an on-off. You know.
Yeah, and
it's hard to feel a modulated difference as you push farther down.
Absolutely, and so I got a true brake system. There's a company out of the UK called AXC-Sim. So AXC-Sim.com. They do a true brake. It's a mod for these Logitechs, and it basically turns that brake into a like a pressure module. It's not quite all the way there, but it doesn't travel as far, and it's based on force, and you can change the springs in it to change how stiff it is and how much effort it takes to apply the brakes. And at the very least, it makes it more consistent. So like your lap times are going to stay, like if you're not making different mistakes, your lap times are going to be way more consistent. And that was
not even that badly priced.
No. So it's €50, lira. I don't know European monies.
That's euro.
It was like roughly $93 shipped to my door.
Yeah.
And I ordered it around Christmas time. So like if you were ordering anything in the United States through the U.S. Postal Service and you did it priority, which is usually 2 to 3 days, and at that time it was taking 2 to 3 days to get stuff into Des Moines and then 7 days to go the last 10 miles to my house because of COVID and the influx of packages just because of Christmas and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I ordered it going, okay, it's got to come from Europe. It's got to go through customs. It's, all that shit. So let's just say, plus they're almost made to order. So like even on the website now, it says pre-order. And I'm like, well, I'll order it when it's available. They'll ship it and I'll get it. So maybe in a few weeks or a month. And I ordered it at just the right time because they had just finished a manufacturing run. So like 2 days later it shipped. FedEx, and 2 days later it was attached to my sim. So it would take stuff from Texas to my house from USPS. It took almost 10 days. This from the UK took 2 days.
So ridiculous. You could have drove down there and picked it up in a day
for $13. Like it was $13 to ship this halfway across the world. So I got it installed, and then at the same time, I wanted to switch over to the inverted brake pedals and like throttle pedal and stuff, so that it's more accurate to how it is set up in the car. The clutch is where you really feel the difference because that's like you don't push it quite like you would a real clutch.
Yeah, when it's floor mounted,
right? But with everything, by being inverted, it's similar to how it is in a car being attached to like the firewall type stuff. So the throttle, and you can adjust it so that it definitely is in a position very similar to your own car. So what I did was I went to Lowe's and bought like $30 worth of hardware and perforated angles metal. It's basically tin. It's really not. It's not that intense, but it was funny because Max is making fun of me. He's like, "If only you knew someone that could make this for you." I was like, "Yeah, but I can't. I'm not gonna have you take the time to custom fab something like this that I can just go to Lowe's and knock out in an hour for $30.
I get that.
So I mean, it was just Friday night after work. I went to Lowe's and I knew what I needed when it came to nuts and bolts and the length of perforated steel that I needed. Yeah, I just attached it to the 2x4s that I have on the sim, and it works really well. I'm extremely happy with how strong it is and how it feels. And it took me probably 2 hours of actual sim time to make the transition from the brake what I had before to the brake pedal I have now. I was very frustrated the first time I drove it. I was like, this takes too much force. Like I was getting cramps in my legs. I'm like, it doesn't even move. And like, it's the second softest spring, and because there's 4 springs, and you can go obviously stiffer to softer. And I went with the second softest because that's what Josh was running. He said that after it was broken in, that felt right. But yeah, I bet it took me 2 hours to really get comfortable driving in this position with this brake setup. And now I'm much more consistent. I did a Miata race at Lime Rock. Yeah, Lime Rock, and I hadn't done a rookie Miata race in forever. So I since the last time I drove there, I think I dropped 3 seconds off my best time on my second lap. So it's a combination of me getting better as well as this setup is improving the techniques that I'm doing. So I'm very, very happy with that.
Cool.
Yep.
I'm glad that it works. The Fanatec setup that I have has like a fancy brake pedal in it too. I bought like the cheaper wheel, but I bought the upgraded pedals because I felt like that was more important.
Agreed. Absolutely.
So, I really like the brake pedal I have. I do wish that I had the inverted pedals. That would be sweet. But, yeah, I think it's cool that, this worked out for you.
Yeah. Anything to make it a little bit more realistic without spending a fortune on it, I'm all for. So like just inverting the pedals helped a little bit, adjusting them so that that I'm not constantly fighting where my feet should be. Putting my the seat and the pedals in a position that I'm going to sit very similar in my own car. I mean, doing that was a huge step in the right direction, and just I think like that muscle memory stuff too. I don't want to create a habit that when I go into a real car on a real track, I'm trying to do something that's going to put me in a bad position. So I don't want to rely on muscle memory for something that's going to totally fuck me up. Because I mean, I've done that.
Yeah,
I've done that before.
Oh, I'm sure.
When I was doing R Factor for with the old setup, like just basically stock G27 on an R Factor sim from 2007. I got so used to using that Corvette that when I got on the track, I put down a really fast lap time. It was like a minute 10, which was very impressive for the 240. And then I had to change something. So I was switching into 6th gear, and my muscle memory had never even considered going back, because I have to go back to 4th to make that turn 1. I struggled so bad that I ended up putting it into the wall. So I want to make sure that I stop doing bad habits, and that's why I'm trying to get this as accurate as possible without spending $10,000 on a sim.
Right.
So I feel like the $93 True Brake, if you have a G27, is worth every penny. Spending the money to do inverted pedals, whether it's with a plywood and 2x4s, or perforated steel, or you have somebody like Factor Fabrication and Max build you some super crazy custom adjustable setup. It's worth it. You can spend as much or as little as you want on it, but I think inverting the pedals and having that True Brake mod is a game changer.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So I've been in the sim a little bit more lately. I've been trying to just get a couple races in a week, just put myself in situations so that I'm more ready for next summer.
It's going to be a summer for you, Robbie.
It is.
It's really shaping up to be absolute insanity.
Yep. Yeah, I kind of had
We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, so it's going to be absolutely nuts. So, obviously, I'm doing that Porsche 944 with Missed Apex Racing. We're putting that together, and I'll kind of touch on that in a little bit. And I still have the 240. I'm not doing anything with that besides I pulled the steering wheel out of that and put it in the Z, So I got a new steering wheel for that, and that's kind of where I stopped. And the Z, obviously, I'm building with the intent of doing GLTC, assuming there's a spot available based on the number of sales they've had for gold passes. Who knows? Assuming I can get in, that was the plan.
Isn't it kind of wild that like they might be approaching the point where you have to buy a gold pass to race with them?
I felt very confident in my prediction that they're going to outgrow themselves quickly.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to switch GLTC up to like an A main, B main circle track style thing.
Yep. But I think that they're growing even faster than I predicted already. And I think that this year will be an even bigger jump than I expected. So, yeah, so my plan is realistically to have the Porsche ready for its first shakedown in April. Do a test day. Same with the Z. I'll do one lap of America the first week of May with Bill. I'll be doing the race director stuff for Midiv TT, and I'll either use that as a shakedown event for the Z, maybe bring the 240. And that realistically, I probably won't be able to run every event there, as well as do WRL, because we want to do Heartland Park WRL in June, and then we also want to do Hallett in October, and those are my first priority, and then the second priority would be the Z, doing GLTC, doing my first event there, doing the race school, and just getting more experience and getting comfortable with wheel-to-wheel racing, and realistically, the last priority is anything with the 240, if I even keep it. And I kind of had a moment yesterday where I was like, this needs to go like right now. Just planning ahead that there's all of my plans for the next couple of years don't include that car at all, but it does include a fuck ton of money. So realistically, that car's got to probably go if I do what I want to do. So, yeah, so I plan on doing 2 WRL races, 1 lap of America, hopefully a few GLTC races, and then I'll be at the Midiv events for sure. Not sure on how many I'll be driving. And again, that could change tomorrow. Because if I can't get into a GLTC race, then, yeah, who knows? It's going to be so busy and full. My schedule as well as anything with Grid Life. They're going to have a banger year for sure, which is a good problem to have.
Yeah, Dalton bought an 8 event gold pass.
Oh my god!
So I guess I'm going to a bunch of Grid Lives this year because I've pretty much committed to, if he's going to them, I'm going to try and go with him to help him, as a crew member. So. Yeah, there's a good chance you'll be seeing me at a lot of Grid Life events this year, assuming that I can get the time off for them. So
yeah, that'll be perfect.
Probably should start turning that stuff in now.
So how many events are they doing? 9, 10?
I think he had bought one for all of them. Well, okay, what was it? I think there's 11 events on the 2021 season, but one of those I think was NOLA. And then I don't know if you can buy gold passes for festivals, which is where the other 2 events. So he bought 8 was the most you could buy.
Yes.
And I think that's how we got to 11 events.
Okay.
Was the 2 festivals plus NOLA that gives you 11 events. So I don't think his gold passes qualify him for festivals.
So he's planning on going to NCM, and
yep.
That's a daunting track to do your first shakedown test of a big change to a car.
We can't really talk about that yet.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying I know he's doing a lot of stuff to his car over the winter.
Yeah, he's been posting pictures of a lot of teardown, and there's some big changes coming. So it's gonna be a machine.
I'm excited. It's gonna be awesome. I've been giving him a bunch of shit about it, but
Oh, obviously, that's what we do.
Yeah, I can't just tell him I'm supportive of it. No, I have to give him a hard time. But it's going to be really exciting to see the progression of that car and his driving, especially if he's doing that many events and getting that much seat time, and if he can remember that there are mid events too that I will be at. That'd be nice if he come hung out with me. But if not, that's fine. I guess I'll just find new friends.
There's been a big increase in interest for your little time trial series.
So it was really cool.
Hopefully that means there'll be a bunch of new people too. So.
Yeah, it was really cool because we went through and redid the rules over the last month and a half, which is way behind schedule, and I know, and I apologize for that. But
trying.
Yeah, we're doing our best we can because it was such a pain to get a schedule this year, and you'd think it wouldn't be quite that difficult with COVID and stuff, but it made it 10 times harder to just get a schedule. So we got a schedule that'll be officially posted, and then rules will also be officially posted here real soon. But we went through and redid them, clarified some stuff. So, I mean, do you want to get into it a little bit?
You can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, so
I don't know how much of that stuff you want to be public, and we haven't even really talked about it together, so whatever you feel comfortable with.
No, that's cool. Yeah, we'll just kind of go high-level stuff. So some of the big changes are we clarified, the modifiers. So, in the past, it's kind of been categorized. So if you did, a couple things with these... Let's just say you did a simple spoiler and a simple splitter and a diffuser or whatever. You took your modifiers for that as a category. We clarified that you take a modifier for every one. So if you have a splitter and a spoiler and fender vents and an air dam, and you take a certain percentage for each one to a certain point. And same with all the other modifiers as well, because I think we were getting cars that were way too built up for the modifiers they were taking. So you got cars that had active suspension, and then a couple other really high end race developed technology, and they were taking a modifier of 0.5, and it should have been realistically 1.5. And if you don't have the rules in front of you, it probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But so we went through and clarified that, and then hopefully it helps balance the competition. We also added a modifier for dual clutch transmissions. I think it was half a point or something, and I actually wasn't sure how that would go over with some
that factory even.
Yep. Yeah, okay. One of the the Porsches and the BMWs, the M5 or the M4s, or those were kind of where we went with it because
Cayman GT4s.
Yeah, those cars with the dual clutch, they're fast, real fast, and that transmission C8s. Those transmissions are faster than a traditional manual transmission.
Yeah.
And we talked about that, and we are I wouldn't say we argued, but we definitely had a lot of really good discussion about it. And we settled that it's a performance increase. And one of the guys that I knew it would affect pretty dramatically, I have a good rapport with, and he's not on Facebook, so I just email him directly when we have updates. And I sent him the new updated rules and said, "Hey man, here's where we're at. It's not official yet, but just we kind of want peer feedback." And it was funny because he came back he goes, "That's a really good call on the dual clutch transmission. It obviously it affects me, but that's the right call." And I was like, "Thank you." I was that's
finally that's somebody with a decent head on their shoulders.
So it was just for all of the changes that we did, I was expecting some pushback, some negative comments, anything, and we almost had none. We posted the rules. We had some clarifications, some typo type stuff that people pointed out, hey, this isn't, I don't think this is what you meant. And we went through and we clarified that and cleared it up. But there wasn't 100 comments of people complaining about the rules, screwing them over, and that their car doesn't fit anymore. And so I was really impressed with the results of the attitudes of the people once they read them, and the excitement that comes into it. Because I bet we had 10 people asked to join the group and the page in the last 5 days that hadn't been on it before.
Last year, I remember, we didn't talk about it much on the show, but because we didn't want to get anybody in trouble, but you were really frustrated with the rule process last year. So it's good to see that that's not been the case this year.
Yep, and we didn't make last year was a big thing because we added the requirements for roll bars and stuff.
Yeah,
and it got us more in line with like NASA, that space series, and Grid Life, and it was that the TT Nationals has a little bit different philosophy and rule set, and that's where it really became a problem, is because we would have autocrossers that wanted to make the transition to time trials, and the way we do passing is like, there's not really a novice group, and it's passing anywhere with the point buy. And our licensing is a little bit stricter than TT Nationals. So when we went to that rules, it said if you have a 5-point harness, we require a roll bar, or if you go away from the OEM factory safety restraint system, you have to be able to go all the way. Like there's no half in, half out harness bar only stuff, and that got some feedback or pushback from a few people. And like they were, sending me rule sets from different race series saying, well, I could do this, and I could go to track night and do this, and yeah, that was really frustrating. But now I think we've gotten past that. That there might be some people that don't like it, but I think that the mass majority understands the significance of safety rules, and no pushback. We didn't really make any changes to it this year either. Maybe clarified a few things, but our safety rules are about the same as they were last year. Man,
cool.
But anyways, so I have been working on the Z, and we talked about a little bit on the show that I went to Big Breaks. I added the Pathfinder cooling mod. So I went with, tried to go with a budget big brake kit, because I don't want to spend $3,500 on brakes if I don't have to. So what I did was I bought the Willwood 6-piston super lights for the fronts, which is a 14-inch rotor by 1.25 inch, and that is a standard 370Z track Akebono size rotor. So I can just order that anywhere if I just stick with a single piece rotor.
What is Akebono? You keep saying that, and I don't know what that means.
I'm trying to think.
Is that a manufacturer?
Yeah.
Is that a factory part? What is that?
It's a high-end factory part that a lot of like the track edition Zs get, or the track edition a handful of other cars get. And I don't know if this is the most accurate way, but my understanding is basically the Japanese Brembo. And I'm sure that's going to offend somebody. But Akebono is the manufacturer.
That name just sounds, I guess, cheap.
Oh no!
It sounds like you know what I mean? It sounds like some bullshit knockoff.
Oh no, definitely not. Though these are the track edition factory, like the Nismo parts.
Okay.
So like the Nismo Z would have Akebonos, and so it's the 14-inch rotors that work really well with the Willwoods. So I have the Willwood 6 pistons in the front. Went with the Akebono. It's the same thing. It's a 14-inch rotor, but it's thinner in the rear. And then I just went with factory replacement Akebonos on the rear, and then completely deleted the ABS. I got the next Drive Motorsports module that deletes the ABS module. So then I have obviously a brake bias valve and all that stuff. Getting the front half of the cage is getting done in Booney as we speak. And then I have everything kind of to finish the interior and get all that done. My ApexPro module showed up. We'll talk about that in a minute. And basically it should be ready to go. I'm actually further ahead than I thought I would be. It's just a matter of putting everything in the car. And then I did some added oil capacity to help with a little bit of cooling and just a little extra oiling. But nothing dramatic there.
Cool.
Yep. So that's not a whole lot to say on the Z really, but there is quite a bit to say on the Porsche 944 for the race team. So over Christmas, I had 2 weeks off and I didn't have a whole lot going on, so I put the engine in myself because I refused to ask for help, obviously. So.
Working with a team refuses to ask for help.
It was just one of those things. Like it was the day.
mean, you're already there, right?
Yeah,
Just as well do
I'm at
it.
my house by myself, and I have time off, and it's right around Christmas time, and I know that's no, not everyone had the time off I did, and I was just at home. I was like, well, I'm just going to do it right now. So I looked into it and realized that everywhere says that the easiest way to do this is to drop the cross member beam out of the Porsche. You disconnect the suspension, and then you put the engine in from the bottom. I don't know why that was supposed to be supposedly easier, but it was a gigantic pain in the ass. It took me all damn day. So I got it in there, I got it nestled in, and then we went with these semi-rigid motor mounts. And they're good. I'm sure they're great products, but like they're two pieces. And I learned the hard way that you have to attach the bottom half to the cross member and then tighten it. And then you need to put the engine and attach those members to the pucks that touch the cross member. So if you do it backwards, it just sits and spins and never gets tight. So you get to take the whole thing off and do it twice, which of course I did.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I got it nestled in place. Once it was in, it was fine, but it was I don't know why it was such a pain in the ass to do it. Like, it doesn't make any sense why it's that difficult to put just a 4-cylinder engine back into the car it came from.
It doesn't seem like you'd think, oh, it's just a 4-cylinder, it should be easier. But like one of the hardest engines my dad and I have ever put into something was putting the 4-cylinder back into
your
S10.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't seem like it really matters. Just because it's a smaller motor doesn't make it an easier install.
No, it really didn't.
So who knows?
Yeah, but it's in there. We've made a lot of progress in the last couple of weeks. Eric's done a lot of the wiring. I did the oil cooler. And for those that are paying attention at home, I did not use the same shit that I used on the Z the first time around. I went with race flux everything, just like I did on the 240, which I've been running for a couple of years now with no issues. So you only make that mistake once. Race flux, oil cooler is installed. I did that last weekend. Nick and I did the custom-made spark plug wires. I don't know if you've ever done that. It sucks.
Yeah, I did it for the Omni, and it super duper sucks. And if you can buy pre-made ones, do it.
Yeah, don't even think about it. Yep. No, I after a while I had a decent system going where I have this like curved pliers, so I would put the boot over the curved pliers and just like hold it out and kind of stretch it just wide enough that I could feed the coil through, and then do all the connector and all that stuff, and then pull it back where it needs to go. But it took way too long, and it was way harder than it needed to. But we got that wired in. We have flying leads to everything. The wiring harness is pre-made. Eric did a really good job with that. He went through and did like a wiring schematic for the whole thing. Like literally engineered the whole thing. Has drawings numbered. Like, he knows where everything goes. So I'm not touching that. I'm like, that's his baby. So once we get that done, it's ready to go. Engine's basically ready to go. We just have to attach a few things here and there, wait for a couple fittings to show up. I wrapped the header and installed that. My recommendation there is DEI is worth every penny. I've done some of the cheaper stuff before, and I didn't really realize how much shittier it was.
Yeah.
And you can, like, I have a picture I posted on my Instagram that all of the tubes of the header are used. I used up all the DEI, and it's real, like, it looks smooth. Like, there's not a lot of like hairs sticking out. It just fell into place. I mean, it took some time, but it wasn't a nightmare. And then you can see on the collector where I connected everything with remnants from some of the cheaper stuff I used on the 240 originally, or the Z. And it's just like, it just looks shitty, like, by comparison. I mean, it's just like the last 6 inches or whatever, but yeah, it does not look as good. And it's like, it fills your fingers and hands with fiberglass, and
which sucks.
Yeah, but the DEI stuff, like, way better. And you don't get that the hairs stick to your skin quite as bad. So whatever it costs to get a DEI set for whatever you're doing, do it. don't cheap out on it. It's just from a happiness of life situation, not so much. I mean, obviously it's a better product, but you'll be so much happier with it. Got that installed. Right. Really, wasn't a big deal. But what was a big deal was that we had like a weird communication error because like a good chunk of us ordered some parts and they all kind of showed up at my house and I have a pile of parts and I don't know what quite goes to where. So like we had talked about replacing the studs for the exhaust manifold. So we got these like the fancy locking bolts that you saw at PRI. You remember those?
Yeah,
they have like
I do remember.
They have like the snap ring on them.
Yeah,
and I could have swore we had said that that's what was going on the exhaust header or the exhaust manifold. So like I get the old studs out, and I'm trying to get these new ones in, thinking that's what they're for. And I'm sending a picture to the group. I was like, these are like an inch too long. The flanges, it doesn't work.
Oh no.
So and then no one had a clue what I was talking about. And Matt ordered the stuff, and he was so confused because I just had him convinced that that's what this was for. But actually, what come to find out that these bolts were for the axles, the CV axles that attach the transmission to the wheels, the hubs. Apparently, that's a known fault. So they sell these locking bolts for that whole system. But of course, I had just finished that with the factory bolts, which again, gigantic pain in the ass because it uses like an Allen head, or actually not even Allen. It's a 12 key. So like I needed to go get a special 12 key just for that.
So you had to take it all back.
So I had to take it all back out, put these back in, and then of course we don't have exhaust studs because we didn't really plan for that. We had talked about it, and then just a miscommunication thing. So I went like at 8:00 on a Friday night. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get this. So went and got some stuff from I think it was like Pep Boys, or not Pep Boys, O'Reilly's, that was exactly what we needed. So I got that knocked out, but I'm just looking at this going, I don't understand this at all. How, like, these are very expensive bolts. How can we be wrong?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I mean, that's what happens when you get a pile of parts and you make the assumption that this goes here, and then whatever, and you get to do things twice. Yeah, so the exhaust is basically done. We have a few things to do to kind of finish up the muffler side, like the last little bit of it. Drivetrain's in, ready to go. We got basically it's just wiring and odds and ends. I think we are going to go with the on your Audi it had the brake fluid, clutch fluid all in one reservoir.
Yeah,
we're going away from that for sure.
That's a smart move.
So we got to kind of figure out exactly how we want to go about that, whether it's just adding a reservoir to the slave or the master cylinder that we already have, or getting a whole new assembly. Because I mean, even the Willwood, the whole assembly is not very expensive. Because I think the reservoir for a 944, like the upgrade or whatever for this, was like $60, but an entire Willwood setup was $50 for a whole new master cylinder. So
you got Willwoods on there?
No, just
for brakes.
No, we got the Brembo S2 factory brakes.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna go with G-Lock pads, and then these we got Stop Tech rotors. It's only 150 horsepower roughly, so I mean we shouldn't need the hugest brakes in the world. So
I think at that point, for like bigger brakes, just mean bigger cooling, which is not bad.
Yeah.
Like, more surface area to spread that out on.
Right.
Which isn't bad.
Oh, and then I ordered brake ducts for the cooling on the Z, and I ordered 2, 3, or two sections. They sold them in sets, so you buy 2 of them, and I bought just 2 of them, and then 4 of them showed up. So now we have free ones for the Porsche.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's
I didn't realize those were for the Z. I just assumed they were for the Porsche.
No, I figured I'd do it on the Z because I didn't want to like completely tear apart that bumper because I really like it.
Right.
So I want to kind of add a little bit of an air dam, and then I was going to use the cutouts that are already there and put brake ducts there. And then I'm going to use my plan, anyways. This might not work. Is to use the dust covers that I have. So Josh left me like 4 brand new dust covers. I'm going to modify those to hold the cooling duct, and then just attach all that. That's my plan. If I'm not happy with it, I'll do something different. But I haven't really gotten that far. But yeah, Nick's currently working on the car because it's Saturday. He's got a handful of things. Eric couldn't make it today, and the other team couldn't make it for various reasons, and that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so once we had finished the show, I'll jump right back onto it again. And then we got a few things that we need to finish up with that cage once we are done. But we're in a good spot to have it ready by April.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. Just
I need to come see this thing
anytime, man. Yeah, if we went to shut down the restaurant last night, it would have been perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see it.
It's the business.
It looks the business on the Facebooks, like, and the Instagrams and whatnot.
Yeah.
It looks like a serious race car.
Yeah, it's going to look really good when it's completely assembled.
And I like the 944. I think it's it's a handsome car.
Yeah.
You know?
And especially with the wide body. I mean, it just adds to it.
Yeah, and you do have that wide body. What are you planning on running? Do you guys have your wheel and tire package sorted?
Not completely. The wheels that we have on it now are forged, but we still need to decide on exactly what we want to do, because I know these are worth a small fortune.
Oh yeah,
and we've kind of had that discussion. I was like, well, does it make more sense just to buy a brand new? Sell these and buy a brand new set or 2.
Yeah.
So
a spare set of wheels is important in endurance racing.
Yeah, because it is a consumable. You will eventually warp them from the heat and just throw them away. So yeah, we still need to kind of figure out exactly what wheels. I know Matt's got a set of Momos, I believe, picked out that he think are perfect for the car. So I'm not sure if there's a few conversations we need to have to decide on if we're keeping these, if it makes sense to sell them. Do we just buy another set?
Yeah.
Or do we need 2 sets? Do we need wet tires? Yeah, it's just we shouldn't. I think we're doing 200 treads. So it's the conversation that we've sort of touched on, but haven't really made a decision on yet. We got a little bit of time there. That's not quite as critical.
So you probably put a decent wheel and tire under there now.
They are.
Like with the wide body sort of thing you got going on, you could probably put a pretty decent tire under that car.
Yeah, I think they're shit. What are they under there? Like, I think the rears start with a 3 or something. They're huge. I think I think what's currently sitting on it right now are 18 by 10.5s.
And I would seriously maybe have the discussion where that might be too much tire for a 150 horsepower endurance car.
We have had that conversation too.
Because at some point you just get to diminishing returns on how much that's really affecting your lap time versus your fuel mileage because of your rolling resistance. And is it really worth it?
Yeah, definitely. And that's part of it too, is because these are the wheels that we have are sought after in the 944 world, I believe, or the Porsche world, or I'm not
something.
Really. Yeah, something. Apparently they're sought after from what I'm told.
Right.
So yeah, we've kind of had that conversation. It's like, well, would it make sense just get rid of these, get 2 small, sets of slightly thinner wheels, or So we'll see.
Wheels that won't cost you an arm and a leg to buy the tires that go on them.
That too.
Especially because you're endurance racing, so tires are a high consumable.
Yep. That and my biggest fear is that one piece fender, bumper, nose, or hood.
Yeah.
Because shit breaks in endurance racing, and I don't want to have to fix that. So I'm not sure how I feel about that single piece nose. It looks the business.
Do you know the history on that car?
Not enough to speak to it, no.
Okay.
I think
it's quite the deal. It's like a full-on race car.
Yes,
it's wild.
Yep. No, I love it. I mean, it's super cool. But yeah, I know Eric, I think Matt could probably speak a little bit better too, like the history of it, where it came from, because there's a lot of that I don't know coming in so late in the game.
Yeah. So,
But yeah,
should we do some news?
yes, we should.
We got some silly news.
Yes.
Some weird news.
That's the best kind of news.
Yeah.
As always, our news is presented by ApexPro. I just got my ApexPro OBD2 interface.
Cool.
He was supposed to send it probably a couple weeks ago, but apparently he sent it down to the shipping department, and Lisa decided that I didn't deserve this, and she canceled my order.
I agree with Lisa.
So I assume that she listens to the podcast and hates me.
I agree with Lisa. She knows what's up.
Yeah, a lot of people are probably like, yeah, duh, obviously. Fuck that guy. But I messaged Andrew. I was like, hey, man, it's been a few weeks, and that's not here yet. Did you ship it? He goes, yeah, man, I sent it down there. It should have been there a long time ago. And then he goes and checks. Like, no, Lisa canceled it for some reason. So then he sent me another one. Or actually sent me one this time. So, yep, should have that all set up in the Z so I can have my ApexPro data logger as well as my ApexPro OBD2 interface for even more data. I'm pretty excited about that. Plus, then I can have my gauges that... Because I fucked with the wiring. Now my gauges aren't accurate.
Yeah.
Which is my own fault. But now I can use my...
Fancy cars.
Fancy-ish. But yeah, ApexTrackCoach.com if you want to get your own data logger or unit. Use our code TenTenths for a free window mount. If you want the OBD2 interface, hit them up as well. I think that's around like the $120 range, I believe. Either way, we don't have a code to get anything discounted on that, but I think if you hit up Andrew and just say, hey, we're here because of TenTenths podcast, I would really appreciate it, even if they know that people are coming because of us letting them know. Win-win for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, definitely check out ApexTrackCoach.com if you want to start getting into your track data. I think the more on track you are, the more you're going to want to start doing this, and this is the perfect place to start.
First up, the most ridiculous story. Jamie Lynn Spears calls out Elon Musk, saying his Teslas are secret cat-killing machines and that he owes her some new pets.
I saw this on the news. I can't remember what website it was. I was scrolling through it. I saw it on the side. I was like, nope, no, I'm not clicking it. I'm not doing it.
You have to click it.
I was like, I won't do it. This is clickbaity bullshit. I'm not doing it. And then I came back like the next day and it was still there. Like, fine, I'll bite. What is it? So she's claiming that because Tesla and electric cars in general run so quiet that her cats that she lets just roam around her compound, apparently.
I want to know how many cats this lady has. Is she a crazy cat lady?
Probably, yeah.
Which I'm kind of into that.
Yeah, so you didn't like her until about 10 minutes ago. Now you're like way into her.
They say she's an actress. Does she?
Since when does she act? She sings, I thought.
Does she sing?
I thought so.
I don't know what she does.
Britney Spears' little sister.
Britney Spears' little sister.
Then I don't know. I don't know anything about anybody.
That's fair.
But
we're not the right people to speak to those things.
No. I can make a lot of assumptions, but that's not going to get me anywhere. But she's claiming that because Teslas are so quiet that they keep running over her cats. And that for some reason Elon Musk is to blame and he owes her cats.
So first of all, number one, maybe like get your cat problem under control.
Yeah, keep him in the house, man.
But number two, it is required by federal law to have electric vehicles that make some sort of noise. They have actually listed in this 43 decibels when traveling less than 18.6 miles per hour, which is very specific numbers.
No kidding.
But so the cars should be making noise.
Yeah, well, even just the road noise. I mean, it's not like I assume she's not. She lives on a city street, so I mean, let's just assume the speed limit is around 25, 30-ish.
Well, I assume this is like when she's pulling out of her driveway. She's like driving down the road and she's running her cats over.
Her own cats?
I think they're her cats, yeah.
Well, it's her cats, but I think she's blaming the neighbor with the Tesla up the street.
Oh, I figured it was her Tesla.
No, she would have sold the Tesla if it was her own.
Well, I mean, that's the reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, if I have a car that I think is too quiet and I'm running over my own pets, it's time for that car to go. It's not.
No, because it says her original, because she made these posts on social media and she's since deleted them, so we can't really go and look at them. But according to this, the direct quote is, "I have now lost, I don't want to tell you how many cats because they don't hear the Tesla crank and unfortunate things happen." That says to me that when she starts her normal car, the cats hear the engine start and scatter.
Yeah.
But because the car doesn't make any noise, it just goes. They don't scatter, and she's running them over with her own car.
That would make a lot of sense. But again, this is her not taking responsibility for her own car and blaming somebody else.
How fucking terrible of a pet owner are you?
How many cats do you have running around your garage?
Well, so like when I was younger, when I was little, and my parents owned an acreage and we had barn cats. We would lose a few cats a year to getting them run over. That's part of
life.
Barn cat ownership.
Right.
It is what it is. It wasn't there. We have many stories of cats hitching rides to places. There was one cat that had disappeared. It was gone for, I think, even a few weeks, and we had just kind of written that cat off. And my parents used to bowl on like a Friday night couples league.
Okay.
And my mom and dad were walking from the car to the bowling alley, or maybe vice versa. And all of a sudden, now, we lived 10 miles from the bowling alley, so it's not like the cat made it there on his own free will. But the cat came running out from like the dumpster area because I think it probably heard my dad's voice and recognized it. But at some point, it had hitched a ride to the bowling alley and was just hanging out there until he heard my dad and came running. And, there was one time where we had a cat. My dad and another one of his friends were going, I think, to a swap meet, and the cat hitched a ride on the camper. Like that happens from time to time. We've had cats stow away.
We've done that too, where we went to visit my grandparents and the cat stowed away, and it was, oh God, I bet it was 50 miles. It survived.
Yeah.
But we jump out of the car at my grandparents' house, or the van or whatever, and there's our cat.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was within the confines of the vehicle, but it made it the whole way there.
Dude, can you imagine how terrifying?
It's insane. Like, to this day, I don't think we know if it was like in the engine compartment or if it stowed into like the behind the seat somewhere. But like, it doesn't make any sense. It'd be in the car without making some sort of noise after an hour.
Well, I think our cat, the one where it stowed away to the swap meet, she was in the enclosed trailer, and my dad didn't see it when they closed the trailer up to leave.
That would make sense. And
I ended up going and like they stopped 20, 30 miles down the road, and I had to go get it and bring it home.
Oh, geez. So yeah, I mean, they do.
Yeah, so I think that's what's happening. Is she's saying that she fires up, or she gets in her Tesla and just pushes the gas pedal and runs over all the cats underneath her car.
But when
so like, check it.
Yeah. Well, every year you see that. It's not a meme. It's more like a PSA where there's like a picture of someone like telling you to like bang on the hood of your car before you start it to kind of warn animals, because when it's cold out, they go and sit next to the nice engine block and whatever. Yeah. But yeah. So, I mean, if that's happening, just bang on the hood a little bit and make some noise.
How many cats does she have that she's not keeping track of them to the point where she's running them over?
She clearly said, I don't know how many.
Right.
So that's too many.
Because that could be like 2 or 20.
I'm going to go with 20. Because I assume she just goes
killed 20 cats with a Tesla. Like, this
she just goes and gets another one, and then
PETA needs to get it. I mean, I'm not a PETA advocate by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like someone needs to get involved here.
I think so. Yeah,
maybe we need to like sit her down and have a chat with her about her cat problem.
Or if she's got a dog, it wouldn't be a problem.
Or like a V10 Lamborghini.
Yeah, now we're talking. Loud pipes save lives.
See, Robbie? Loud pipes save lives. There you go. Damn it.
It's true.
Now I have to support it.
You have to.
Because I love cats.
Exactly. You know how many cats survive because of how loud sports cars are? Or V8s? V8s never kill cats. Electric vehicles kill cats.
Well, V8s probably still kill cats, but it's usually the cat's fault at that point.
Yeah,
You can't fix stupid, Robbie.
that's fair. Like all the stupid deer.
When the mind doesn't work, the whole body suffers.
Oh, man. I almost hit a deer the other day on the way to work. I was so mad.
Ugh, gross.
Because we had just had all that remelt and refreeze.
Yeah.
So our roads are like a ice rink for the entire gravel.
Yeah, I bet it's really been nice here lately because we go 40 degrees, 5 degrees.
Yep.
In 24 hours. I'll bet your roads are a complete total shit show.
They're okay now, but like earlier in the week when we had the high wind and they didn't go out and plow, but we had a lot of drifts, and then that just turned to ice. And on the way to work on Monday, I'm driving over this hill and I see this car kind of like leaves the better neighborhood and it's following me. And you can see, I honestly don't know if it's the Tesla that's always getting stuck or one of those other cars that always gets stuck because he never switches off his summer tires. So he's following me and I'm going up this hill and I fishtail like crazy, knowing that it's okay. I got to watch this guy. So I get towards the stop sign. I'm just sitting there for a second watching. And as he crests the hill, spins right into the ditch.
And Robbie continued on his way to work.
Yeah, he never learns, so I'm not going to help him.
No.
So if it was not the same person every fucking time it snows, I'd be more apt to help. But it's the same person every time.
Yeah, it's hard to feel sorry for.
I don't feel bad. And then the next day, equally as icy. So I'm going, a few miles under the speed limit because it's a speed limit of 40, which is way fast on ice. So I'm not going anywhere close to that. But this car gets right up behind me, so close that I can't see their headlights, and they tailgated me for 2 miles. I was upset.
As you should be, Robbie. You should be.
That's a great way to start the day. It's just like I haven't had coffee. I'm on my way to work, and this fucking asshole just ride my bumper.
Yeah, imagine how I feel with my 45-mile commute every day. There's a lot of idiots, even if it is
nice
6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, people ain't no good. Like, whatever. That one didn't end up in the ditch, though. I was just hoping to see spinning headlights again. That would have made my day.
There was one on my way to work here last week, and the car was laying on its top.
Oh shit!
Which is never good, And I wish whoever was in the car, I wish them all the best. I hope they weren't hurt. But the way it was laying in the ditch, it looked like they exited the road at a very high speed and lawn darted into the embankment on the other side of the ditch, and that the car must have nosedived and then rolled over long ways. I'll bet that was a ride.
I bet.
It fascinates me how often I'll see a car like an absurdly long distance off of the road on the interstate.
Yeah, no, it's
just like that had to have been a terrifying experience for those people.
It's insane how many people refuse to admit that the roads are dangerous once there's ice on them.
Yeah.
I mean, the Midwest culture of I'm still going to work, I don't care how bad the snow is ridiculous because
a little bit.
And we make fun of other parts of the country that basically shut down if it rains. So I mean, it's kind of our own fault. But yeah, if it's that bad that if you make a mistake, you end up 200 feet off the road next to the trees, it's okay to slow down. Be cautious.
Yeah.
Or just,
I don't know if they just like pedal down and hope that they're going to come out of it on the other side somewhere, or if it really took them that long to woe the car down. Like,
probably, yeah. Who knows?
I drive through a lot of ditches. I know how hard it is to maintain speed in a ditch, and these people are hundreds of feet off the road, man. It's like driving into a gravel trap at a racetrack.
Yep.
Like they slow you down quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, that or if you get it just right, it'll turn into a ramp. You can have a nice long gap between tire marks.
Yeah, that's a good time. So
that's all I got on Teslas. And
Aston Martin, 40 years later, is restoring their Bulldog for another shot at joining the 200-mile-an-hour club.
This is the ugliest Aston Martin ever. And I know you love it.
Okay, so it's ugly, Robbie.
I can't believe it's an Aston Martin.
It's ugly, and I fucking love it.
The headlights are just atrocious.
The headlights are terrible. Those mirrors are god awful.
Yeah, but they're aerodynamic.
And I flippin' love this thing.
God, it's awful.
So this was, up until the Valkyrie, this was the only mid-engined Aston Martin ever built. It was they were supposed to build 15 to 25 of them. It was going to be like their world dominator supercar. It was going to go 200 miles an hour. They built one in the very early 80s, and then it never got anywhere because the chairman changed, and that guy was like, nah, man, we're not messing with this. So
I'll interrupt you for a minute if you don't mind. It kind of looks like it's like the Lamborghini wedge style, so it's kind of got that like a old Countach look. Not exactly. And then it also kind of has like a DeLorean look. Sort of.
Yeah.
It's just a weird
Vector
car.
W12E.
Yeah, kind of like that. But all those other cars look better.
So I think that panel in front of the
Headlights.
window mirror, or in front of the headlights, moves up.
Yep.
When you're not using the headlights.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
So, it's got a mid-mounted V8 with a pair of turbos hanging off of it.
Well, that's fun.
Claimed to be capable of over 650 horsepower, which is pretty wild.
Especially at that time.
1981. And their goal, it had a theoretical top speed of 237 miles an hour. But they were only able to get it to 191.
That's a pretty dramatic difference between theoretical and actual.
I think that's something a lot of people find out the hard way.
Yeah.
Not only in automotive manufacturing, but also in grassroots modifying, is that this car is going to go this fast, and then it very much doesn't.
Yeah. Like, well, a good example of that would be like the Tremec T56 gear ratio calculator that they have on their website.
Yeah.
Because I did that when I was trying to do some final drive stuff, decide on what gear ratio I wanted. You figure out what, because I topped out my speedometer at St. Louis, and we were trying to decide how fast we think I was going before I had a data logger. And theoretically I was going like 150 or whatever, which wasn't the case. And then I had a top speed of like 186, but we know the car's not capable of that, even if the gear set might be.
Right.
So, yeah, like a 40 mile an hour difference on a 600 horsepower car is pretty crazy.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Aston Martin ended back up with this car, and they're restoring it. And one of their factory drivers is planning on taking it out and trying to top it.
So, are they going to change anything? Like,
it looked to me like they were basically just going to restore it to like new condition.
Huh. Is there only like 3 left in the world?
I don't think that there's more than the one. I think that just this one.
Yeah. Okay.
So the story on it, they kind of talk about it. It's 43 inches tall.
Very small or short.
Which is pretty ridiculous. It has the most bitchin' Compomotive split alloys on it, which are so good looking to me. I love those wheels. I don't care what you say, Robbie.
God, they're awful. So bad.
Was originally sold to somebody in the Middle East for 130,000 euro. The prototype landed in America at some point and then was shipped back to the UK in 97, by which time it had been painted green and had a lighter interior, as well as 4 Weber carburetors instead of the experimental fuel injection system.
How much do you think they spent changing that interior?
I don't know.
If it's a one of one.
Yeah. So and then it says by 2022, the Aston Martin Bulldog shall be better than new, as well as faster than its 191 mile an hour top speed.
Well, I think changing the tires would be a huge step in the right direction because the shitty all seasons that are on it.
They'll probably fix the fuel injection system and make it
like efficient and effective.
Make it a little more. It'd probably make a good bit more power.
Oh yeah.
and some less sketchy wheels or tires. I mean, I feel like this car is going to go places. Like it'll probably go fast. What's annoying to me, and this seems to happen a lot. They wrote this news article to get me all hyped up about it, and I'll never fucking see about it again.
Yeah. Yeah, someone has a nice idea, and then Aston Martin's like, yeah, that's a waste of money and time. And then they move on to other things, and never.
Well, even if they do this, even if they take it out and they do 237 miles an hour, like just because of the way the algorithm is or whatever, I'll probably never see it anyway. And so I always feel like, just wish.
What a dick tease.
Yeah. But no, I think this thing is rad. This is the embodiment of 80s atrocity, and I freaking love it.
I agree with everything except for the loving it part.
Yeah. They have a picture of it taking a corner, like in anger from back in the day, and the body roll on it is atrocious.
Yeah, its suspension could use some work.
Yeah. So, but I think it's cool. It makes me wonder, like, because I don't know that much about Aston Martin as a company.
It's small. I think I'm always shocked at how small it is.
Like, did they build some really cool stuff I don't know about?
Oh, I'm sure.
Like this thing. I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, I bet there's some really neat stuff that's never seen the light of day.
Yeah, some like weird one-off prototypes that ended up in some oil sheik's collection and never seen again.
Yep.
So, cool either way.
And
next, the Volkswagen Golf has officially been discontinued in America.
Oh no! What are we gonna do, Adam? Oh no!
Robbie, why you gotta hurt me like this?
Oh gosh!
But don't worry, guys. The sportier GTI and Golf R will live on. So I don't like.
Where? What does that mean? Here
this isn't
in America?
Yeah.
Oh, then whatever.
Yeah, we're keeping the Golf, the GTI, and the R. We're keeping the fun ones. We're getting rid of the boring ones.
Oh.
And so while this is kind of bad, it's not that bad.
Oh yeah, I made it sound like it was all good. I mean bad. I mean it was all bad.
Robbie, don't do this to me.
But I thought we didn't get the fun ones anyways. I thought that I went to like Europe and Japan.
No, we get the fun ones of the Golf.
For now.
We don't get the fun Volkswagens. We just get the fun Golf.
Gotcha.
Because I don't even know if they make a Scirocco anymore, but it was like a better looking Golf built on the Golf platform, and we didn't get it.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that means they're killing the Sport Wagon and the e-Golf.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But isn't that the shit that they sell? Hanover, like, just they can't keep on the lot? I thought people bought those like
Not
crazy.
Here.
Oh.
Maybe in Europe, but here they sell a lot of Atlases and
true.
Tuaregs and I don't know whatever.
The Jettas, right? They still sell Jettas.
I don't know. Do they?
I don't know. I have no idea.
So, they sold 69,000 in 2017 of all versions of the Golf in the U.S.
That's a lot.
And by 2020, or in 2020, they sold fewer than 22,000.
Oh my gosh.
As a Honda sold that many Civics a month last year.
Oh my god. Do you think it has anything to do with that? Like it's a lingering effects of like Dieselgate? I understand it's completely apples and oranges, but do you think that that's kind of stuck with them?
Well, no, I think that a lot of, because like that this is the perfect comparison, the Golf and the Civic, because they mentioned it, and the Civic like disgustingly outsold it. The Civic the Golf used to be like in the early 2000s and in the 90s was a much nicer car than the Civic.
Right.
And so yes, the Golf was more expensive, but the price was justified. But a 2020 Civic and a 2020 Golf, just a base Golf and a base Civic, that gap has narrowed significantly in build quality and interior quality and looks and stuff like that. But the price hasn't. The Civic is still a lot cheaper than a base Golf. It's like, man, nah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Well, the reason I asked is because I saw that they were, I don't know if it was official, but it looked like they were going to get like $100 million fine for some sort of emissions thing in Europe again.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure.
But I think a lot of them are fighting that a lot now because I think
it's too.
Who it was. Maybe Toyota just got caught doing some stuff.
Yeah, it was one of the major companies.
Yeah. So the other thing I think is that, like, I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure that Volkswagen's warranties aren't that great.
No.
And like that's an important thing to a new car buyer.
Well,
I think most people who are buying brand new cars are probably buying them largely for that expressed purpose.
Yeah, you have no worries. Like for the next 100,000 miles.
I want a warranty. I want a car that's fresh and new and won't break down on me. I want the warranty, and I'm going to drive it for a while. That's what I want. And so, like, and to me, a warranty is as much about manufacturers' faith in their own ability to make a car as it is protecting protecting the consumer.
Yes.
To me, like, Kia and Hyundai, they got a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty on their car. They have to have a lot of faith in their ability to make a good, long-lasting, reliable car in order to be able to cost justify putting that in. And so when you have a small, short warranty period, to me, that just says, I don't have faith in my car being reliable long term and me being able to make money on this. I can't put a long warranty on it. And so that, even if I don't really intend on buying that car specifically for the warranty, that's hard to swallow.
Absolutely.
Because even if I don't intend on driving the car long enough to run the warranty out, the last thing I want to deal with is my car breaking down all the time. Even if you're going to fix it for free, it's still a hassle.
Yes.
And so that's important to me to make sure that this is going to work well. And so I don't know. I think it doesn't surprise me that they're struggling to sell these cars. And I'm glad they're keeping the fun ones here. I do think that, like, the GTI outsells probably the base model Golf pretty well.
I would think so too.
It doesn't surprise me. But yeah, part of me says, oh, well. And that's me saying that. So,
yeah, and if you're the one saying it, then I'm sure it's a pretty common theme across the board.
Yeah. So,
but yeah. See you, Golf.
It's kind of the end of an era, though.
Yeah, which is sad.
They've been selling the Golf in America for 50 years.
That's a long time. I did not realize it was that old.
Crazy.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was that old of a model.
Yeah. So, nearly 50 years. Not quite. Yeah. Very close to it,
though. That's a long time for a continuous model.
Yeah, I think the first year the Mark I was like really late 70s.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I did know the 80s, so I mean,
yeah. That's kind of wild to think that.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting the fact that it's not 2002.
Yeah, we're old, Robbie. We're freaking old men.
It's 2021.
Yeah, we talk one of my coworkers was born in 1999, Robbie.
Oh, you want to know how it's really
He's
easy?
an adult.
You want to know how easy it is to see if someone's old enough to go to the bar? Just see if it starts with a 2. Or it starts with a 9 or a 19.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. That's
insane.
Yeah. You can't do that anymore now, this year, as of this year.
No. Yeah, they start with a 19? Oh, they're old enough.
Not
Great.
anymore.
Oh, my gosh.
We're getting old, Robbie.
Yep.
We're not even that old.
Aren't we?
I mean, I feel old.
I feel old today. My God.
Old.
Yeah. I don't act old. I act like a child. Ask anybody.
Well, okay, I'll
say my wife will tell you that I'm just an immature child, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, see, that's what I tell Katie. She doesn't need another kid. She's got 2 already.
Yeah, so you don't need a kid at all. I am that child.
So,
yeah, I'll just be immature my whole life, and that'll keep me young.
Yeah, screw it.
Yeah, I don't want to grow up. Screw that. Don't grow up. That's my advice to everyone.
Grow
listening.
old, not up.
Yeah, just stay immature like us. Listen to this show. Laugh at our inappropriate, immature jokes.
us talking about pooping in the field.
Yep. That's what'll keep you young. That and greasy, horrible food that keeps you awake at night.
Oh, it's so good, though.
I'm going to eat it for lunch. But
it was so good, Robbie. I want to go back and get another one right now.
Yeah, I missed that. It had been so long since I've sat in a restaurant. I think you could tell all of us haven't just sat in a restaurant in the better part of a year.
Because we were there for
3
4
hours. We
3.5 hours.
We sat there, ate our food, and chatted. I don't think I've ever done that. Where I just sat and BS, didn't order anything. We weren't ordering drinks. We weren't it wasn't like a party thing. It was just like 4 dudes just sitting around a table catching up, and we clearly all had missed it.
Yeah, it's been so long. Even Robbie wanted to sit there.
I sat there for 3 hours, chit chatting. It was great.
I could have sat there for another 2 if they'd. We shut the place down.
We did. We for sure were done eating around 8:30, and we didn't leave till 10. I mean, it was kind of nice though because I want to say it was busy when we got there, but that's still not the case because nothing's busy anymore. But it was as busy could be given the social distancing circumstances. And by the time we left, there was us and one other table.
Yeah.
It was cool that we weren't like those guys that were ordering food right as the kitchen closes, but the waitress and stuff was like, "You guys need anything?" "Nah, we're cool."
Yeah. So, Robbie, go work on your Porsche.
Yep, I'm gonna. Actually, I'm gonna edit this podcast. Then I'll work on my Porsche.
I'm gonna eat some lunch.
Heck yeah! All right, man. I will catch you and everyone else next week.
See ya.